Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do a little, or I'm going to be answering my students' questions inside the TT Biology members course. I thought I would do a little action hour with you. I set you up on how to do an effective action hour, and then we're just going to go. I'm going to be working. I'm not really going to be taking too much notice of the chat that's going to be going on. The 4 action hours to work, which they do, but you have to follow a few little rules. And those rules are, for me, you have to write down the thing that you are going to be doing. You can't just say, I'm going to revise a bit of this, I'm going to do some questions over there. You're going to I'm going to do these questions and I'm going to mark them. Or you can basically give yourself an exam question and do these 3 exam questions on this topic. Perfect, Sana. Ibrahim, what is this, is what you said. So basically, as part of Tailored Tutors, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of live classes. If you hit subscribe, then you will be able to get notified when I do things like this, which are not just our classic live classes, but we do things like Study With Me. So it's going to be a Study With Me. You can work along if you want to. So, Sana, awesome. We're going to be, we're going to be doing some work. So let me know what work do you want to do, Sana? And I want something specific, so we can use you as a bit of an example here as to what would be a good thing for you to write down as your focus for your 45 minutes. So an action has 45 minutes, dedicated work on a specific task with a 15-minute break. That makes up the hour. So I've got a timer on the screen. My task is going to be to answer as many of my students' biology questions in my courses as I can in 45 minutes. I might have to mute my microphone here. Sometimes I record video answers to my students. So if you see my mouth moving, but you can't hear anything, it's because I'm recording a video to send to one of my students. 100% Monica, like action hours, lots of our students who go on to university and to then for the rest of their life, basically, throughout university, we have students saying, I still use your color system, I still use your action hours. It's a good way of, basically, it's a productivity hack. So whatever work that you want to be doing, if you've got homework to do, if your work is your intention for the next hour or so, or 45 minutes here, then you can pick something and work through it with deep focus, no distractions, and then get loads more done than you would have done in a normal 45-minute window. Then you can take a break and not feel guilty that you have been distracted and procrastinating. Okay, so for example, you've got proteins and amino acids. Sana, do you have a TT membership? When you say that, so you want to go, and the next thing you said is go through my lecture notes. Okay, so what do you mean by go through? Are you going to consolidate? Are you going to summarize or condense 3 pages of information onto a single piece of paper? Are you going to create a mind map? What do you mean by go through? This is where that stage of this is stage 1, where you have writing down the specific thing. So just going through your notes, what does that mean? Is that reading them, highlighting the key terms and summarizing the key terms on a separate sheet of paper? Give yourself as specific of outcome as you possibly can. And this maybe takes a few minutes. You can have a little bit of time to think through what it is that you really need to do. So can you go a little bit more detail than just go through lecture notes? Are you going to be writing? Are you going to be reading? Those verbs and those adjectives are going to be really useful. I am going to watch, read, write, listen. Watch, then write. Do the template notes, whatever that might be. Does everyone have a task? And if you do, put it in the YouTube chat. I'll see it for the next few minutes. Okay, so you just started uni, condensing 15 pages down to 3. That is a beautiful action for 45 minutes. It's achievable. You might want to start by reading and highlighting, but that's your outcome. You've got a goal. You want to condense 15 pages down to 3, summarizing all the core information. Wonderful. That's a great task to do. Perfect. That's great to hear. So we started pharmacy. How is pharmacy going? Are you enjoying it? Lots of chemistry in there. It comes under the label of pharmacy, but there's a whole lot of chemistry in there. In fact, our resident chemist, Rich Warburton, his degree was, I don't know if it was pharmacy or pharmacology. I don't really even know the difference between pharmacy and pharmacology as degrees, but that's what he did. A whole lot of chemistry in there. Pharmacy Foundation. What do you mean by perfs cell cycle? I don't know what you mean by perfs. It's not a standard acronym or a version of cell cycle. The answer is cell cycle in AQA biology. Yes. Is a unusual version of cell cycle in AQA biology? The answer is no. OCR do the most detail on cell cycle. If you're looking for a reference for like more detail, then the OCR books will give you more stuff on that. They go into checkpoints and the various different checks that the cell goes through after it's completed mitosis and after it's done DNA replication in S phase of interphase. Anyway, I'm not here to answer your questions right now. I'm going to start my timer. I'll have half of an eye on the chat. In fact, let me move your comments over to this page over here so that I've got 2 monitors on the go. I'm going to just basically crack on with my work. I'll leave myself unmuted. If the background noise is annoying you, let me know in the chat. I can mute myself. And you can just watch me work and work along with me. Is everyone feeling ready to begin? Those of you that want to begin? Well, in fact, to be honest, I'm ready. So I'm going to go. I've got my cup of tea. It's nice and hot. I've got 45 minutes. It's not in NPerf's cell cycle, not in AQA, OCRA, or EdXL-A. Maybe it's in the IAL, which is an EdXL spec. Maybe it's in the EdXL-B. I don't. I would say unlikely by that name because I've never heard of it. But it might just be some really obscure thing in a spec that I don't teach. But I have a degree, first-class degree in biology. We never covered anything. That's not ringing any bells. But that's not to say it's not in your spec. I specialise very much in the specs that I teach. And outside of that, I open a spec once in a while and have a little look at it. But I don't claim to be a world expert in those specs like I am in the specs that I do know. Okay, everyone ready? I'm going to start the timer. We're going to have 45 minutes. Write it down. If you've not written it down, I mean, putting it in the chat's pretty good. But if you are looking to be productive in this session, write it on a scrap of paper. If you struggle with other distractions, then try and clear away all other distractions. Phone or computer can go on do not disturb mode. No vibration, no nothing. And I'm going to be your timer, but if you do want to set a timer, that's really good practice if you're doing this at home on your own. Okay, timer is going to begin. 45 minutes starts now. Time's up, everyone. How did you all do? Give me a bit of feedback as to. Yeah, I was recording a video. I did preface that when I started that I might be talking and you might not hear me because I was going to mute myself. But sorry for any confusion there. How did you do? Give me some feedback. I should not be muted anymore. What else did I want to say? How much did you get done? I managed to answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions in 45 minutes. It's pretty typical, to be honest. It takes me 5 to 10 minutes for every question to find example questions and to really give a nice answer. So pretty happy with 7 questions. I was hoping my target was 10, but 7's pretty average. So yeah, did it help having a specific task or goal written down in advance? That was the one thing I really wanted to impart on you. I'm going to be doing my live class tomorrow with my biology students. In fact, the question I was just answering was like a year 13 student asking how to keep on top of recapping AS content whilst learning the new content from year 13 at the same time, which is a great question. That's that long video that I was explaining. I was giving that student like just a video that I was recording to him. So one of those best methods would be coming to the AS class, or in fact to the live class. I'm going to be covering AS content, a skills section, and the A-level content in each live class. So turn up 6 o'clock for that. And that's going to be a great way. I'm going to be picking topics. Students are going to be picking topics in the poll questions as to what needs to be included it's just going to keep you fresh on all of those things. A lot of skills-based stuff in there which you won't necessarily do at school or college anyway. That's basically it from me, unless you've got any final questions, in which case I'll give you 10 seconds in which to submit them. And I don't know what's going on. When I started using my camera for recording that other video, then yeah, it changed all my aspect ratio and stuff inside here, which I don't know why. Do I offer work experience? We're actually doing a whole bunch of. Oh, am I allowed to say any of this? Actually, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that just in case I put my foot in it, because I'm not the ones in the negotiations there. We are doing some work on that. Yes, I mean we are brand ambassadors who work to basically record and document their experience of doing A-levels. We get work from us as interns. We don't have any work experience in our office. The simple answer is no. But our brand ambassadors basically get a lot of that with their brand ambassadorship. Okay. My name's Rich Johnny. I've never been a big fan of Sir. People call me Sir in the course regularly, and I always let them know that I'm just Rich. I'm your biology tutor and coach. Does Oxbridge care about your school or college? Well, you can't change that. No, they shouldn't. Some colleges have better records for taking people from comprehensive schools. Other colleges have way more intake from private schools. You might argue that's because of the grades, because obviously independent schools tend to get higher grades, as everyone's pretty aware this year of the economic inequality. So what the government's calculated grades accurately reflected at a population level the grades that students would have got at those schools. The problem was that the normal system, the examination system, means that schools in affluent areas with better teachers get better grades than schools in poorer areas with weaker teachers. So the system they built accurately models the normal system. The normal system is economically biased against the poor. But this year, because exams weren't being done, that was more obvious to the wider world than it would be in any other situation. And so the government wet their pants and decided to let students have a 10% grade inflation this year, which is probably just as fair as any other system, to be honest. Like, what does it really matter? I'd say all these questions Yeah, they'll do their first selection on. It's not just, to be honest, Oxford and Cambridge. My sister went to Emmanuel College at Cambridge. There is like 45 applicants per place, so everyone's getting A's and A stars. It does like it's basically a given that you're getting A's and A stars. It's the other things on your CV. So by going to grammar school, you're probably more likely to have played an instrument. You're probably more likely to have done kayaking and like all these other extracurricular things that might build your profile. So it's not necessarily the school, but it's you as the applicant. And sometimes independent schools. I had a few friends from university who went to a private school, and our out of school activities were like football and cricket in the summer. That's basically it. Whereas they were doing all sorts of stuff, rock climbing and all this kind of stuff. And I can just see how someone with all of that to say about themselves is probably going to have a stronger application than someone who's like played football in their free time, you know? Right, so all these questions you're asking me right now, this is perfect, the exact kind of thing that we answer in our Monday check-ins. So Monday, YouTube channel, we're live every week, Monday, 6 o'clock. So come and chuck us all those questions during those times, basically. Do I think BTECs are bad? No, not at all. I don't think BTECs are bad. We don't have the 2019, we don't have the summer papers. So it's very difficult to give you, we can give you generic predictions. I can tell you there'll be enzymes and proteins questions in the exam, but like what you want from me, from predictions, are like me to analyze the past couple of years, especially last year's paper, and to give you my best guess as to what's coming up in this year's paper. But without seeing the 2019 paper, can't do that. Without seeing the 2020 paper, because they didn't release it, because it didn't happen, I can't really give you a prediction. So I can only give you the relative importance of topics, which you probably know yourself. Yeah, Johnny. So like in terms of maximizing your chance of getting into Oxford or Cambridge, then you want to stand out from everyone else who's also got straight A's and A stars. You want the work experience that you do, the volunteering that you do, the clubs that you're members of, to show that you are really passionate about the subject that you're going to be teaching. Or if you're an elite level doesn't have to be elite, but like a high level sports person, musician, you stand out, that you're not just one of those people who gets straight A's but has very little else to offer. That's what they're looking for, because if you assume everyone in the pool that you're up against has those grades, because that's the entry qualifications, then what are you doing to be different? Yeah, those of you that do have your October exams, then good luck, really good luck. Habiba, I've written a full section of my exam guide on how to write the AQA biology essay. So I suggest you check out that, so you can check it out in the free trial if you want to. So yeah, that's I've done a whole course on it. So, well, in fact, it used to be its own course. I've actually now merged it into my exam guide, so it's a section of my giant exam guide. I don't know how many lessons are in my exam guide. I'd say thousands of lessons, but it's very well organized, so it's easy to find stuff. Any other questions you have on stuff like that, come back on Monday, 6 o'clock, for the student check-in. Why is there no physics? That is a good question, because I haven't found a genius physics teacher yet. If you know of a genius physics teacher who knows the spec inside out, has examining experience, has good charisma, like there are lots of qualities that we're looking for, and if you are that person, get in touch. We'd love to know. It's something that's on the long-term cards, but also physics is not done compared to biology, chemistry, and maths. The numbers of students doing physics is tiny, so we don't get a huge number of requests for physics. When it was biology, we got requests for chemistry every single day. I bet there was an email saying, "Can you do chemistry? Can you do chemistry?" Will there ever be physics? Yeah, one day. I really look forward to the day when there's physics. But okay, that's everything from me. Come back on Monday, and if you've got any other questions, that's the place to ask us those kinds of things. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Now I need to find my live stream so I can end it. Toodle pip.